We now move forward to the urban innovation session, where our innovators will present novel solutions addressing some of the most pressing city-centric challenges. The chair for this session is Dr. Sujata Deshpande, CSR head at Thermax Foundation. And the co-chair, Mr. Ram Iyer, is a trustee at Swadha Waldorf Learning Center and a mentor at PIC's SI Lab. Dr. Deshpande and Mr. Iyer will introduce our presenters and guide us through the session. I would also like to acknowledge the esteemed jury members for this session. Mr. Vishwas Mahajan, founder of Visible. Dr. Venugopalan Premnath, Director, NCL Venture Center. And Mr. Advait Kolekar, CEO, Upohan Management Consultants Private Limited. With that, I hand over the proceedings to you, Dr. Deshpande and Mr. Iyer.
Good evening to all of you. Good evening. Post-tea sessions are, initially I was saying pre-tea and the mid part because that is the time I didn't have any audience. So we requested we'll wait for some more time because that's the time when if I extend it a bit too much, then everyone would wait for tea. But now that you all are back, welcome to the Urban Innovation Panel. You all know that urban city challenges are too many, and usually of course we saw rural challenges, we saw the challenges and the innovative solutions for tribal panel. But when we talk about urban cities, the innovations can never be too many. When we were saying everyone is focused in cities, there were some questions related to that. Urban challenges can never be countered with only a set of innovative solutions because we all can be catalysts to bring some change, but to, I would say, catapult a major kind of a change, to bring some out-of-box changes in the way the systems work, in the way the places work. Now we have population, overpopulation, so all the complexities which are there, and now the new solutions which are coming, which are tech-enabled to deal with, whether it is traffic, it is housing related, it's education, everywhere. The innovators are always welcome. So the social innovators today who are here in the panel have been selected from a big milieu of some 150 through a very rigorous process. And there's a mix, and I'm really very happy to share that there is one particular, to start with the first one, of course Ram will be introducing them in person, but generally as the innovation that they are bringing is a challenge which we always think about is what will happen when we just give training to students and they become BComs, BA, nothing wrong with that, but that still does not give them any vocational learning. So then we immediately start with skill building programs, but that still does not solve the problem because that skill building is never mainstreamed in the education. So one of the innovators today are going to talk about how they have started a social innovation to mainstream education in the education vocational training, and some of our Thermax's partners are also having their project with us. Then we have another panel which only talks about how cost saving and efficient ways have been brought through AI and technology to water. And then we have a particular NGO which is a social enterprise which is going to talk about how online as well as in-person solutions have been brought to address the problems of harassment, sexual, physical, etc. to women and children. So without much ado, I'm going to request Ram to just call them and start the panel. Thank you.
I think we can just start with the hand. Thank you.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. My name is Karthik Suri, and I'm here representing Lend a Hand India. Firstly, I would like to thank all of you for giving me the opportunity to talk about what we've been doing in this space of vocational education. The objective of Lend a Hand India has been always to bring vocational education as a part of the mainstream curriculum. So apart from the general subjects that students read in schools, how do you make sure that they're also exposed to other skills and foundational skills, vocational skills? And we work in the spectrum of grade 9 to 12. And the way we do it is we work with government and government aided schools in about 100 of them, I would say, in Maharashtra majorly and a couple of other states. And we still work with them because we believe that you need to know what's happening at the ground level and be stuck, be able to face what's happening in reality. At the same time, I think after about 7 years of inception, we were incepted in 2007. So about 2013-14, we started working with the governments also, the state governments as well, when they brought in this entire policy of vocational education. So we work as a project management unit with multiple state governments under the ambit of Samagra Shiksha, where we're helping them implement this policy on ground basis our learnings. It's something that we are continuing to learn even today. So we've been able to reach out to roughly about 1.3 million students annually across grades 9 to 12 and across 14,000 schools, as I say. Why vocational education as a part of school education? I think we've actually heard a couple of others also talking about there's a lot of dropouts which happen in schools. So what's happening with those children once they're coming out of the formal education system, right? Those who are continuing forward to even get into technical education, we see that half of the graduates coming out are not getting jobs. Right, and if you go beyond, if you actually see the entire workforce getting employed, there's a lot of data which says that most of them have not had any formal skills training. So the belief that Lend a Hand India has always been that probably the intervention of skilling and exposure to skilling has to start from schools, which is where the entire premise is. Something that we are very, very proud of. We were recently got featured in the economic survey of 2023-24, where the entire model of Lend a Hand India was exemplified. The way that we collaborate with governments, we work with vocational, bringing vocational education as a part of the core component, working with recruiting trainers and training the trainers, organizing internships and offering placements and support. Yeah, one of the key components under vocational education, which involves skilling, the skill labs, and training the trainers, is internships. Now, this is something that I just want to draw your attention a little more. We realize that while we understand the sweet spot of grade 9 to 12 is where the students are actually making their decisions in terms of where they should branch out, what are the things that they should ideally want to study further, we thought internships is a nice and innovative way of getting them exposed to the world of work. How do they get to intern in with the local employer, and our current and the program that we started piloting in 2016-17 in Pune itself with about 80 students and 15 employers. We said how do we get them exposed, identifying local employers, connecting students, the schools. We got them to we suggested that they should be an internship of at least 80 hours that they should spend with the employer, and it could happen anytime during the year as long as the student has some free time. And these are only for grade 11 and 12 students, not below, because that's the time when they're actually making those decisions in terms of what they should study further. And it can happen throughout the year, and there is no stipend, there's no financial transaction happening, because for the student it's learning, and for the employer, the small medium employer, it's more about, I think it's his way of doing CSR in a way, his way of giving it back to the society, and also helping the children. So these are some of the clips you can see. You can see some of our students who are interning with a local cooperative bank. There are some students who are interning with a fabrication workshop. Somebody who's doing some work at the nursery. And even sitting at a grocery store. And these are all places which are pretty much accessible to the school, or in and around the school, because students are very wary of not going very far. In fact, I wouldn't say students, the parents are very particular about the student not traveling very far away from school. So I think that's the thing. In terms of the start, like I said, in 2016, 2017 when we piloted. In 2021-22, we roughly had about 2 states, Maharashtra and Delhi, who were onboarded with this entire concept of internships as a part of the vocational curriculum. But as we stand today, we have about 12 state governments who have considered internships as an innovation within the component of vocational education, and they have allocated a budget of about 60 crores only for that, which are touching about 3.28 lakh students across the country. And India has more number of states. So I think the first task for us is to get this 12 to about 29, to just have that across. And like Dr. Mashirkar said in the morning, we probably want this to be the next practice. If not, then hopefully becomes the best practice. We had an opportunity to do a third-party impact evaluation, and very interesting insights again. We saw that most of the students, about 80% plus students, felt that they were able to take informed career choices after an internship exposure. Most of the parents felt that their girl child could take non-traditional career choices. You've seen some pictures of girls working on industrial workshops and all. The parents were now a little open, saying, okay, maybe meri bachi bhi kar sakti hai, so why can't she move in that direction? And the last is the most important part, is more than 75% of the internship providers were saying, hey, come back after your school if you really want to work. So in a way, it's a direction, it's a road to livelihood which is set. Not necessarily that they would take that road, but at least they have that confidence now that they have learned something, they're able to improve their life skills in the place of work, and they have an offer of sorts from the intern and provider, saying that you've done a good job, but if you ever want to come back, come back to us. When we do our, these are some of the testimonials. Probably you could just pause for 10-15 seconds for you to go through it, and then I'll probably run a video for you, which is about 50 seconds. These are from students, parents, employers, and school principals, because these are the key stakeholders in the entire in the civil society. This is the video that you're going to see is that of a farmer in Gondia. Certificate for the students.
सेंद्रिय धन व भाजीपाला उत्पादक शेतकरी संघटना यांचे दिन 17/11/2023 पासून 1/12/2023 पर्यंत आपण सेंद्रिय शेती, भाजीपाला संगोपन, गांडूळ खत, व्यवसाय, गोमूत्र, गोमलचे महत्व, वर्मी कंपोस्ट, सेंद्रिय कीटनाशक, बीजामृत, जीवामृत यांचे शेतीमधील विषयी आपण सक्षम शिक्षण शेतीच्या बंधावर येऊन प्रशिक्षण घेतल्याबद्दल आपणास प्रमाणपत्र देण्यात आले.
That's the certificate that he was given. So just imagine the amount of confidence boosting that for a child or for a student, who's going. Sorry. Yeah, so I think the program that we're proposing is definitely a little bit of an enhancement within internships, because we've seen that how it's been happening. More importantly, now it's a part of the policy, the National Education Policy and the National Curricular Framework is given importance, and it's giving a mention on internships and why internships are important for students at schools. Okay, so we are looking at, and the current implementation, the way it works is you identify schools, you identify students, and all. So I'll just take a minute or so. Sorry. So the existing program is more on onboarding schools and identifying students and the local employers. The enhancements that we wanted to bring in is how do we start mentoring the students before internships? How do we start documenting what the students are learning during internships and giving them some post-internship support as well? So I think that's something that we want to work towards in enhancing our existing internships project. And our ask is about funds of about 50 lakhs that we're looking at for running this pilot with about 500 students in and around Pune district. And we also want to mobilize the students across 100 employers, because I understand that this group is a combination of people from the CSR and probably people handling small and medium enterprises and forums. We're also looking at helping us identify 100 small and medium enterprises or local employers who would be willing to take these students as interns in this area. And funds is about 50 lakhs, and we're trying to target about 500 students, and we're looking at about 9 months of a duration in terms of finishing this entire project. The last few seconds about the team. Sunanda Mane and Raj Girdhar are founders and co-founders. Sunanda Mane is an Ashoka Fellow, and comes with a huge experience with World Bank, UNDP and CARE. And Raj is a co-founder, and he comes from a banking background, and he's also the advisor and works very closely with the government initiatives of National Skill Development Corporation and the National Curricular Framework. Thank you so much.
Hello. We have Rati coming in next, providing a crucial skill required in the urban areas. Sorry.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving us this platform. I'm Siddharth from Rati Foundation. So around I think the 12th of July, sometime last year, we got this email in our inbox. So it very much looks like a spam email. As you can see, you can't understand anything that's written on it. But we are a helpline and we have a 100% response policy. Okay. So we checked this email and what we realized that it was in a Portuguese language. It was written by a 17-year-old girl who had sent her nudes to some person online, whom she had met online, who was an Indian citizen, who was blackmailing her. Okay, and then we had this entire sort of like language gap, right? So we wrote an email back to her in Portuguese language. We used Google Translate. A total of 50 messages were exchanged. We got the evidence from her. We assessed the evidence, assessed that the case was true. And these were the few of the actions that we took. We reported the account and we made sure that the harassing account was taken down from multiple platforms. Yeah. We informed the local law enforcement that there was this perpetrator and we provided them intelligence with where approximately he might be based. And we provided the girl with mental health support. So mental health support before the content was taken down and mental health and support after the content was taken down because she's afraid, will he come back again because he has not yet been apprehended. About a year later, we get another email in Portuguese. And this time it's a thank you email. She was 17, she's become an adult. She's thanked us. She said she's sorry for the mistake we made. We did not say it was a mistake. She felt it was a mistake that she made. She thanked us and wrote back to us saying like, if you need any more help, I am always there for you. Yeah. So this girl is one among the 400 plus victims. And these are like singular victims who have reached out to us that Trustline has been able to help over the last 2 years. So why did we start the Trustline? This is a growing need. We all have extremely sensitive data on the phone, not necessarily nudes. I'm talking sensitive data. You're all at risk. It might leak. And once you leak, what do you want, right? You want a easy to access helpline, not answered by a bot, answered by a trained expert who will handhold you and make sure that your content is back in our control. This very simple service is what we provide. And we identified 5 vulnerabilities that victims face. 1, please take down my content, highest priority. 2, mental health support because you're anxious, right? The level of anxiety that a victim goes through when your content is lost is extremely high. 3, if you're a young child, you want to tell your mother, but you're afraid your mother will shout at you. So can you counsel our mother? This is our worst service, rated very poorly by kids. Like it doesn't go well. And then of course, like we have technical support. Sometimes you just need information and legal support. So we have a team of practicing lawyers. So कोई भी आपको legal जानकारी चाहिए, we will be able to give it to you. If you're in Bombay, you're not able to afford a lawyer, our lawyers will also represent you. So these are just some of the things, like you said, there are no bots. You don't want to face a bot when you're having an issue. Right, you want to face a professional. You don't want to fight a bot. We currently offer capacity in English में केसेस करते हैं, हिंदी में करते हैं, मराठी में करते हैं. As you can see, पोर्चुगीज में किया है, तमिल में किया है, मलयालम में किया है. We'll manage. It's a safe space. We will never ask you why did you do this. अरे you knew ना. We will not ask that. This is in our SOPs. We are on your side. It is safety without surveillance. You don't have to tell us your name. Just give us the evidence. We'll help you. We are not here to survey you. We will take as much data as we can use in helping your case out, and we will convince you, and only then you have to share the data with us. And the victim or the client is always at the center of our thing. So their safety is paramount. This is the impact. As you can see, this time we are in the urban category, but if you look, 25 states have reported it to us. 8 cases we received. So next year, I think we'll apply again in the rural category once internet connection spreads. And like I said, the thing that we do best is content takedown. Not other helplines don't do this because it's very difficult, but we've perfected it to a science. We're looking on spreading that information. Second most used service, mental health counseling, right? You have 2 types of mental health. While the content is being taken down, then once the content is down, you feel fine. Sometimes you're afraid, has that person put it online? So you come back to us again, which is a long-term counseling. We create a record within the legal system. So we file cybercrime reports, we provide legal service. If it's hacked, sometimes we'll be able to even recover your accounts. And of course, this is comprehensive services where we are doing legal representation and also social support for the victims. Now, of course, the casework is terrific, but the data that we have gathered is impactful because this is like real world, real victims, real trends, real perpetrators, right? This sort of data is sometimes lacking, and it has been cited by the Law Commission of India, it has been cited by the National Human Rights Commission, it has been put in the first ever chapter on children and internet in India that was presented to the Convention of the Rights of the Child, UN. Meta, recently, as you know, there's a lot of AI-generated nudes, right? So Meta gave a wrong ruling on the AI-generated nudes, and it was pulled up by their oversight committee, which is an independent Supreme Court that Meta has. And they cited the 100 cases of AI-generated nude content that we had reported, that we found on Instagram. Right, and they overturned the Meta ruling, saying that this content, that women and children need more protection on Instagram than it is currently being provided. And looking at all this work, the Delhi government has sort of given us the responsibility of developing a digital wellness curriculum for standards 6 to 12. We've developed it, it's over. We've developed it, it's over, and we are now going to roll it out, and this will potentially reach 20 million children every year. Clients are mostly female. There's a concentration between the 13 to 25 age group. The youngest client that we had was 12, the oldest was 73. As you can see, clients feel that clients feel listened, clients feel that they understand, they rate our program highly. And the one data point that you should see is that 100% clients said that they will call us back. So this is something that we are very proud of. This is our team. All professionals, no bots. You will be directly connected to a professional. That is our assurance. A professional who knows what they're doing, who understands the sensitive nature of the issue that you are caught in. This is the Madhya Pradesh police who featured us. So basically, this is the tough part, right? Police does not want to take down content. You will file an FIR, but the police is overburdened. So the police refer cases to us, and we take down content for the police as well. And then of course, we deal with sexual violence. It is a lot of legal liability. So we have a legal team. So which is why other helplines are maybe not able to do casework. So casework becomes premium. Funding, it's 50 lakhs a year right now. We are CSR compliant. Our major funder is Meta, who also takes a large part of our intelligence as well. And we basically take money from the platforms, and we don't want the users to pay. Safety is a fundamental right. It should be free. We will not charge you. This is the help that we need from all of you. Please spread awareness. We are starting to capacity build Maharashtra. We want to make Maharashtra a model state for online case response, that hopefully after the elections the training will begin. We want to strengthen the data dissemination. We have spectacular sort of SOPs. We want to use AI and make our decision making easy, and we want to replicate this model in other geographies. We want a Maji trust line, we want a Namade trust line, we want a Ende trust line, And it's a distribution problem, right? So there are music companies which for the smallest violation will take down content in millions every day. But when a victim of sexual harassment has to face a grave violation, the journey they have to go through is not justified. The systems are there, you just need to give access, and that is what we are doing. We are solving the distribution of access to safety online. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rati. Thank you, Siddharth. Should I start?
This is moving forward. All right. Namaste everyone. My name is Parag Thakur, and I'm a founder of Water App, where we are on a mission to save water using technology. I'm proud that so far we've been able to save about 30 million liters of water and about 3 crores in energy and water and labor costs. Right. So as I think everybody knows that we are facing at a water crisis, right? But let me ask you, let's take an example of Pune. Does Pune have a water problem? Which is the biggest problem in water management is you think it has happened. You think somebody is managing your water and then you are just free to use as much as it's. So that's the problem we are trying to solve. So I'll give you an example. We have a very big township, that's our customer, right? Standard problems, they order a lot of tankers, so pay through the nose for water. Still residents will complain about not having enough water. What makes it worse is tanks will still overflow because they are depending on humans to shut the pump off, right? Now, they are smart. I mean, they have tried automation, but the problem with automation today is the system would be outdated. So let's say if a float sensor goes bad, you'll not find a person who will come just replace that. So which means you again go back to manual systems, right? So those are some of the problems. Other aspect is a big dependence on a single person or manual monitoring, right? It's of course a problem because of negligence, but the bigger problem is the risk. I don't know how many of you have actually climbed a water tank. The ladder is an afterthought. The construction is after all extremely risky. I mean, we do it day in and day out, so we know. So that's another aspect that we are completely neglecting, right? So what is the solution? We've taken a stab at one aspect of this. The solution, we call it Water App, which is a collection of IoT hardware that we built in-house from ground up, a cloud platform and a mobile app. How does it work? Very simply, we have built a set of sensors and controllers that work wirelessly and that go fit into your existing water management system. So, for example, we'll have level sensors, flow meters, pump controllers that talk wirelessly with our gateway. Gateway sends that information up to the cloud using GSM or Wi-Fi. And then from there, we crunch all the information, we do analytics, and then we make all that information available to you very easily on an app. Excuse me. Okay. So how does the product look? Just to give you a better idea. So on the top left, that's one level sensor we've installed in a tank. Bottom right, it's a pump controller. So level sensor gives you information about exactly how much water you have in any tank and analytics related to that. There's pump controller, which will let you take control of the pump, let you control it remotely. You can even do automation, so it will automatically operate the pump on your behalf. If you need very accurate information about how much water is being used, there's a flow meter that you can install. And then on the right is a photo of a gateway. So as you can see, a lot of this can just work off solar power. So we don't even need any complex wiring to be done anywhere. Our team is able to get in and really get the site going within a day or two. So once all that information is collected, it's all available to you in the form of a simple app. In the case of the township, for example, their watchman will use the app to make sure that all levels are looking okay, that all tanks have enough water. They can shut it off if they require. For the managing committee, we offer all sorts of useful information. For example, how much water is used by every tower. Is one tower using more water than other towers? Standard fights, right? Everywhere. They're able to prove that, oh, that's not the case. They can detect leaks. For example, if you suddenly see in the app that the water level went down last night, and you don't expect too much water to be used in the night, so you kind of know there is some leak somewhere, or even the app can tell you those things. They can operate pumps, etc. So those are the kind of use cases. I mean, your day-to-day water management, it's one less for our customers to worry about after they install Water App. Now the technology, actually we have built it in a way that can, I mean, of course you can deploy it in an urban life, but we have been fortunate to also work with a lot of esteemed research organizations, IIT Bombay, etc. IIT Bombay, Aquadam, Tata Trust, Sustain Plus, etc. to deploy the same technology actually as a part of some research projects. So for example, on the left hand side, you will see us monitoring the water level real time of what is called as a CNB or concrete nala bund. Now that is used to calculate water balance or essentially volume calculations of discharge and all of that. But the second image is that of level measurement in case of open well. The third is where we monitored the agency, monitored the agency of a solar power plant which was used to draw water. I think this was, and then on the last one, we essentially measure the water discharged by a flow meter, or essentially how much water is being taken out of groundwater. So essentially we also have been able to help out those projects which need access to the data. Of course, they have the research part, they are hydrogeology experts, but on the technical side, we are able to help build that in your CSR projects for visibility and accountability. So for example, I mean something, let's say you have a wash program, or you're probably deploying schools or toilets for schools, right? Maybe you can think of some IoT component like measuring water in the tanks. Why? Because water is a proxy for actual human activity. Even the fact that whether the toilet has water will tell you whether the toilet is being used or not, right? So that we've spent a lot of time driving the cost of the technology down, getting it working in even difficult Indian circumstances, where now you can use that technology to actually bring out more data from your projects. Third is, of course, funding our innovation. So far, we have only touched some aspect of water, surface or groundwater. Actually, groundwater is what we'll be going after next. There isn't good equipment today to measure water levels when there are pumps in the well. So we want to go after that as well. So any grants and funding would be most appreciated. And of course, lastly, partner with us for any data-driven research. So for example, we've been fortunate to work with Deena sir as a part of Jal Mulya, where any of this data, if it's useful for you from a research or a policy perspective, we can work with you, and we can help you essentially make your stuff better. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Is it on? Yeah, so now we are going to request everyone to ask questions. Not? No questions? Okay, so
Because we have no time, any questions, please write the PIC team. We'll ensure that each of the panelists here will reply to your questions.
questions can be asked.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you.